questions.
First off, that's a, credit to Penn State of, a big time opponent and very well coached and very classy program that I have a lot of respect for. I'm very excited about how our players showed up today. To come in here and have a chance to do something that's never been done before in the history of the school, to win 11 games and against a big time program, big time opponent. Just really proud of how they did. And like I told them, it's one thing to win some games. If you win a game, in the last second, a field goal goes in or it doesn't. That's one thing. But to play a game that in a lot of phases of the game, these guys played extremely well, kind of dominated certain phases of the game against, I know they were a little short with opt-outs, but, the number one defense in the country. So really pleased of our players to play a really clean, kind of penalty-free, really they did a good job in situations, the 3 for 3 on fourth downs. Those are very critical plays in the game. So just really, really happy that 4 years ago got this opportunity to come here. Our Chancellor and Keith give me that opportunity to put the staff and players together, and it's been a really cool journey and one I'm really grateful for.
All right, thanks. Questions, raise your hand. We'll get you our wireless microphone. Let's start right here in the front row on the left, please.
Lane, you mentioned taking this job 4 years ago, and you said you didn't come here to be good, but you came here to be great. Where would you measure this on the scale of greatness? And also after the game, you said that, there's more to come. What is that? What is in store for Ole Miss in the coming years?
Well, I think it's really, a cool time right now at Ole Miss. To win the most games in the history of the school and to have so many pieces already announcing that they're coming back, which I made sure a couple of them are still doing that after their performances today. But I think it's a really special time. And, I said that when we got hired, we didn't come here to be good and, win some, decent bowl games and some matches. We came here to be great, win New Year's Six bowls like this, be a top 10 program. And so to not just have so many players coming back, but I think it's been well publicized, so many players around the country already joining in for next year. I just thought it was obviously extremely important to cap this thing off right, because I felt like the last couple weeks so much focus was on next year. These guys announcing they're coming back, all these great players around the country kind of coming together. Some of these guys joked about it, being the last dance next year, and I was just concerned there was too much focus on that. So obviously they did a great job showing up today, and like I said, a really cool game to see them really win situations in the fourth downs and critical plays in really critical situations and taking advantage of offsides and different things. Those are proud things as a coach when these guys do that.
All right, all the way back.
Lane, you mentioned your guys dominating certain phases. I mean, you guys outscored Penn State for most of the second half, 18-0, until it was, that garbage time at the end. I mean, what do you think it was that impressed you about your guys that allowed you guys to, create that serious separation in those third and fourth quarters?
I don't know. Well, first off, John, are there any jobs open right now? Just make sure that, you don't put something out there on Twitter and screw up our day today. So that wasn't that funny. I really did think they did. You say garbage time. It's not garbage time. We need to close the game out better than we did. We didn't do a very good job in 4 minutes on offense there, and on defense. But that was really cool to come out in the second half like that, a game that we had to lead and really have a great kind of dominant third quarter in a lot of phases of the game. And I don't have it in front of me, but I saw the drive chart up on the big screen, before the end of the game there, the last couple series. And there were a lot of touchdowns and scores over here on our side in that third quarter and the first half of the fourth quarter, and a lot of punts and then a blocked field goal on their side.
All right.
Hey, Coach Kiffin. Obviously, you mentioned, it's history for Ole Miss that this is your first 11-win season. But this here was also your first New Year's Six Bowl win. Do you see this as a milestone for your time at Ole Miss, or more of a sign of things to come?
Well, I said it out there. I really do believe we're just getting started. I think that we're doing something. We're on our way to something really special. This is really neat. We need a New Year's Six Bowl, and what an awesome bowl and week, and Gary and the whole staff here putting together an amazing week for us. And that was awesome. But we really are. We're just getting started on something really special and a run here. I normally say that's never been done before, but I guess we just did that. But to come back and even do it better, and continue to improve on what we've done so far.
All right, next right here.
This is for Lane and for Caden. Caden, big day today, 10 catches, 136, and 2 touchdowns. Anything specific that Penn State was doing on defense? And then Lane, game planning for Caden, the biggest game of the year. Just curious what went into that.
I just got to thank my coaches, Coach Weiss and Coach Kiffin, just for trusting me, and just Jackson for trusting me, and just the whole line, just blocking. I just got to thank my teammates for just trusting me.
So for Caden and
You wanna
Jared,
actually tell him what you said, like he was in that decision whether to go out for the draft. And if you saw these guys announce they coming back, yeah, so he said, Coach, I'll come back, but you better make sure I have 10 catches in the Peach Bowl. So we kind of had to game. That's what we got to do nowadays. We got a game plan to make sure they stay.
so for Caden and Jared, both of you came to Ole Miss through the transfer portal. Ole Miss is getting a lot of guys from the transfer portal this year. What does it say for you to be MVPs for your respective sides of the ball in a game like this? And what does it tell other guys looking to find a new, greener pasture about Ole Miss?
I think it just speaks to the culture that the guys had already when we got here, and how they took us in and kind of showed us, how things were supposed to be and how the coaches wanted things aligned. And just very thankful for Coach Joyner and Coach Kiffin just showing us the ropes and making us feel at home day one.
Yeah, I just think with the people that they already had here, a lot of the older guys, like on the old line and quarterback, and even some of the defensive players, they had a lot of structure, and they kind of brought us in. A lot of dudes in the portal. I feel like we brought a lot of older guys that just wanted to come in and just compete and just test how Power 5 football is like, and just kind of just showed out throughout the season, and just we came together as a whole.
All right, over here.
Lane, what did you see in the first couple of series of your offensive series against Penn State's defense that affected how you approached the game after that? And was tempo a part of that, part of trying to disrupt them?
Well, a couple of things there. Just in studying and game planning, didn't really feel in that conference they had played much tempo. And, obviously that's part of what we do. And we were able to, that only works when you make first downs. And so we made some plays and were able to get into some tempo situations and, where they weren't aligned and took advantage of that. But early on, there was a little struggle there. Those guys have really good players. At number 11, is a elite player. I'm sure he would have been gone to the draft if he could, because that guy's a special player. So they gave us some problems there early and really, really kind of made it basic and said, okay, we're going to throw the ball quick because they got really good rush, especially when they're blitzing him. And we said, we got matchups. We told them before the game, last night, this game will be won on offense in the one-on-one matchups at wide receiver and tight end. Okay, you guys are going to have to win the game on offense, making plays in the passing game, and they did it.
If I could follow that up, is that okay? And then when you mixed Judkins, a really good back, but you really couldn't do too much with him earlier. Then it looked like you decided in the third quarter to mix him in when you had that air threat established. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. Once you, kind of start winning outside the one-on-one matchups, they got really good coaches, and so they adjust and, play some more zone and, put a safety over the top of Trey, and didn't play any much more man on third down. And so, that's part of it. And then we go back to running the ball. But I thought our players did some, really good things in those situations, like those fourth downs. And then, a big thing those guys do is they blitz everybody and play cover zero, as aggressive as anybody in the country in certain situations. And the guys were able, with 2 speed options, to, pass to Quinshawn for a touchdown. And then whatever you want to call it, Philly special, Atlanta special, Oxford special, was another cover zero blitz beater that these guys executed.
All right, right here, front row.
All right, Lane, so I promise not to ask you any Taylor Swift questions. But I wanted to ask you, where does today's win like rank among your favorite moments from this season?
Well, this would be my favorite moment from the season, because it's the pinnacle of everything coming together. And previously would have been that LSU ending and that game. But, to do it on this stage, when both teams have a month to prepare and you don't have a home field event, you're not playing at homes, there's none of that, you're playing in a neutral site. This would be the best part of the year. And again, not the last play of a game, which we've had a lot of those, and these guys have done a good job finishing those games off. But to really come out in that third quarter and kind of dominate a really good team, in phases, was really special. And that's what you really appreciate as a coach to see, versus a ref's call or the ball hits the upright or something, and you win or lose based off of that.
Left side on the aisle.
Coach, kind of a weird question, so I apologize, but there was a Twitter.
But that's okay. Her was not as weird as her Taylor Swift question the other day.
We'll see.
And I had more time to think, so I would have said anti-hero.
Fair enough. There's a
Or
Twitter.
castles crumbling. Go ahead.
There's a Twitter account that you retweeted a couple of times this week that believed to be maybe a troll account putting out fake Penn State player quotes. I didn't know if you were aware of that or made aware of that at any point.
I was made aware of that. I'm glad we won. So you wouldn't be bringing that up in the press conference, and they'd be saying that motivated them. I thought it was pretty funny, actually, because they discovered that it was Fisher Ray, one of our assistants, that did it, one of our student assistants. So Fisher's now kind of famous. But I thought it was really cool last night when he showed it to me, and he's like, these Penn State fans now, they're into this, that they researched his password and email and were able to figure out which guy it was that started it. So it was all in good fun. I hope the fans had fun with that.
You were okay with him starting the account and everything like that?
I mean, I'm not going to start making social media rules on people.
Okay. Over right on the right side aisle.
Lane, obviously, some considerable momentum with your program right now. What kind of role does that play in program building, and how does where you're at now feel compared to where you've been in your career previously, trying to build something?
Well, I've never been anywhere 4 years, so first off, I feel safe. But no, we've talked about it this whole press conference. We're in a really good place. We're starting something really special. And I think today's another message, which obviously you saw these great players around the country the last month sign up to come join these guys. And today's another message as you look at the MVPs up here and the guys that came in here, to do something special. Today's another message for, a couple more pieces that may be out there, come on, join up.
Are we going all the way in the back here? Yep.
This question is for Jared. How cool is it for you to be, playing in your home state and come out with not only a big win, but win the Defensive Player of the Game award?
Oh, yeah, it was really cool. I had like maybe 20, 30 people come to the game today. So it was awesome to just make history with my guys, and then, even more special to do it at home. So it was great.
All right, we've got time for a couple more. Let's go right here first.
This one's for you, Coach. You kind of talked about in your opening statement about the opt-outs with Penn State not having their two starting cornerbacks. How much does that kind of change how you call the game, and what do you think you guys were able to do more successfully because of that?
Well, I mean, they pay us a lot of money as coaches, so I would think that we wouldn't have been really good coaches if we didn't realize that and obviously go in and attack where there were new players at. I mean, that's coaching 101. So, but again, the players got to make the plays. And, I get way too much credit on these fourth down plays like they were asking afterwards. Our assistant coaches, Charlie Weiss, they did a great job today of having some really unique plays. Like we talked about, the Philly special or speed option, or Q versus the zero down the pipe. Those guys did a great job of game planning to beat a very aggressive defense in those situations and to take advantage, of different players in there. That's what you're supposed to do.
All right, all the way back on the platform.
Coach, with how last season started and then unfortunately finished for you and your team, just to be able to be here right now with your only 2 losses on this season being Alabama and Georgia, just what does that say about you, your team, and everybody else in that coaching room?
I think that's good perspective, you know. I just talked about that in there, you know, 1 year ago where we were and having a memory of, a really poor locker room feeling. And whatever that was, I think we lost 4 or 5 or something like that. And, just went back to work and kept trying to add players, try to grow as coaches, and made some difficult changes. And, it paid off this year, and players and coaches. So really proud of those guys.
All right, we're going to take our last question right here, third row on the right.
Caden Jackson in there just told me he kind of calls you the dad of the offense with the maturity and just experience you brought. How have you felt your role is with this offense? Kind of not the X's and O's, but just within that offense as a whole.
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely an older guy that's just played a lot of college football, and I just feel like a lot of my teammates trust me, and they trust what I say and trust what I do. And I feel like today it showed just on the field, helping guys getting set and stuff like that. But I'm just thankful just that they believe in me as well.
All right, that'll do it. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, guys, thanks. Have a good year.